Hi, my name is Derek Feldman. I'm the CEO of Achieve, and I'm glad to be joined today by Katya Andresen, who's the Chief Operating Officer of Network for Good. I'm sure you've probably heard about her. She's been doing incredible work in the nonprofit sector when it comes to marketing and storytelling and really social media and outreach. And I'm so excited that she's here. Before I actually get her and welcome her on, let me tell you a little bit about the work that she's been doing. She's actually the author of the book Robin Hood Marketing, which is stealing corporate savvy to sell just causes. She's been a part of 9 Minds of Marketing. She's been a co-author with Network for Good CEO Bill Strathman on a couple chapters relating to fundraising and social networking. And she really is a great speaker when it comes to talking about social media integration and nonprofits. And I'm sure she's been maybe at a conference or around somewhere where you've been. So we're excited, and I want to do a warm welcome. So Katya, thanks so much for being here. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great, and it's my pleasure to be here.
Great. Well, tell me a little bit. Of course, I gave the nice little intro here, but give me a little bit about your role at Network for Good, and maybe you could tell us something that you're kind of working on over there.
Sure. My role at Network for Good is basically to run our daily operations so that we can fulfill our mission. And our mission is really quite simple, and that's to get more resources to nonprofits online. So to help organizations like the ones who I hope are listening today to do a better job connecting with supporters and raising money online. And that's what I'm focused on. And probably my favorite part of the job is conversations like these. Network for Good has a learning series. We have a learning center at fundraising123.org. And one of the more interesting things we're working on is we're building a community for the roughly 150,000 nonprofits that turn to us for tips and training so that they can better connect with each other and talk about what's working and not working for them in terms of online outreach. And you should look for that in the next couple of months in early fall.
Excellent. That's exciting. So how did you even get to the decision to do that kind of initiative? What was sort of the reasoning behind it?
Well, you know, I'll tell you an embarrassing story about myself. That's always fun to do, that started this whole thing. And that was a few years ago. I was giving a speech on my book, Robin Hood Marketing, and I was talking about marketing practices for nonprofits. And I also explained my day job at Network for Good. And someone in the audience, with about a couple hundred people, raised his hand and said, "Oh, I know Network for Good. I have a Network for Good Donate Now button on my homepage on my website." And I thought to myself smugly, isn't that nice? You know, right in the middle of the room, a fan of Network for Good in the middle of my speech. And I said, "Oh, that's wonderful." And then the man said, "Well, you know what? It doesn't work."
Oh.
Which was and I was mortified, of course. And I said, "Well, sir, you know, I'm very sorry to hear it. It's unusual someone would not be able to click and make a donation. Please see me right after my speech, and I'll be happy to help work out whatever technological problem we might have." Then he raised his hand again, and I thought, oh, no, what now? And he said, "No, I don't think you understand." He said, "You can click to make a donation, but no one clicks on my button." And I thought, well, that's a different kind of broken. And I thought, you know, Network for Good, we're a nonprofit ourselves, and like I said, our mission's getting more resources to nonprofits. And one of the things we do is, one of the ways we do is putting tools in the hands of nonprofits, like for fundraising and email campaigns. But if nonprofits can't get those tools to work, in other words, they can't do the marketing and fundraising they need to make the technology effective, then we're really not achieving our mission. And so I had a big epiphany thanks to the sort of heckler suggester in my audience. And I'm grateful to him to this day, because what I did is I went back to Network for Good and I said, you know what, we need to do more than offer technology tools for online outreach. We need to offer the training that goes hand in hand with that. So we started modestly. We had a weekly marketing and fundraising online outreach tips newsletter. We started a free online learning center at fundraising123.org. Then we started a training program bi-weekly, which we call Nonprofit 911, because we know the urgency around trying to raise money. And what happened was, you know, we put that stuff out there so people could better use our tools, although we left it open to anyone. You don't have to be a customer of Network for Good to use it. And we were amazed. It was successful beyond our wildest expectations. And our community has grown from a few thousand nonprofits to 150,000 nonprofits regularly accessing all these things. And 200 more a day sign up for something, one of the things I listed. And I thought, wow, all of this from that speech and from that insight that we really needed to do a better job serving nonprofits. So why am I excited about community and why am I moving in that direction? Because, I do a lot of speaking about Web 2.0, but at the end of the day, right now, Network for Good is kind of a 1.0 organization with its training. You come to us, we provide you some great training, and you hopefully go back and use it. But when you have 150,000 nonprofits, you're missing out if all you're doing is having them come to you and go back to their organization. Imagine if they were better able to talk to each other. So that's why we're headed in that direction. It's a natural progression from providing learning opportunities to provide the opportunity for nonprofits to learn from each other.
That's wonderful. Well, thanks. Wow, that's an incredible increase. So good job and congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, so let's sort of walk into, because you mentioned a little bit about marketing and communications. That's one of the first topics we want to talk about. So here's a question I want to ask you. What's your view on how nonprofits, and we're going to generalize a little bit, talk about your view with nonprofits and their marketing. What are you typically seeing happening with nonprofit marketing now, and how do we begin to improve what's going on?
Well, most nonprofits make the same set of mistakes. So hopefully this response will be helpful to all of us, because even I fall in this trap as a self-proclaimed marketing expert, because it's very easy to have this happen. And that is that if we work for a nonprofit, well, what does that mean? It means we're very passionate about a cause, or else we wouldn't be doing this underpaid, overworked, under-resourced career, right? We wouldn't do that if we weren't passionate about it, and that's a good thing. But what happens is we tend to approach marketing as a missionary rather than a marketer because of that passion. And what I mean by that is we tend to come to our work that we are so excited about it that we think if we simply state our mission and explain what we do, that other people will naturally be as passionate as we are. And that's why you see a lot of marketing. It's just sort of about us marketing. Here's our organization. Here's what we do. Aren't we great? Please give us money. And the problem with that is not everyone shares the passion about our cause or organization on the level we do. And it's not a great starting point to talk about ourselves. We need to stop and think about our audiences and people who might care about our cause and understand where their values lie and where their enthusiasms lie. And instead of telling people to value our cause, we need to be focused on how our cause relates to their existing values. And that's a really big difference and a very significant paradigm shift that we need to undergo. And if that sounds strange, I like to give the very simple example of, if I went up to you at a conference, okay, and I said, hi, my name is Katya Andresen, and I was born in 1967, and I'll tell you a little bit about my career, and I gave you my whole sort of bio, and then I said, and now my mission in life is to help nonprofits do a better job with online outreach and marketing, and, I really think we should be friends. Will you be my friend? I think you would run the other way. You think, what a socially awkward person, what a self-promoter, what's wrong with her, what a bore, and you would find an urgent reason you had to depart our conversation. Well, we lose our social skills when we start marketing, particularly online. And we have this sort of dangerous assumption that it's okay to go up to people and tell them how great we are and think that that is a way to start a relationship. And of course it's not. It's very disrespectful. It's like grabbing a megaphone and screaming at someone. And so what we really need to do is stop and see our audience and really understand them and think about who they are and connect to that and start more of a conversation from a shared worldview rather than going out and saying, I'm going to talk at people until they share my worldview.